Hey everybody, Austin back again with another Let's Play video. Today we're going to attempt to be playing Nightmare Busters for the Super Nintendo. Now this was a recently released cartridge as of a couple of years ago. I'm not really sure the story behind it, if it was say a original release from like the mid-90s that just got cancelled and then was recently discovered, or if it was just a modern homebrew created by a couple of guys in their basement or whatever. If you know the details in this game exactly, post a comment below. I haven't really researched this game much, for the last couple of years, and this is actually not my copy of the game. I was actually seeing a friend, and then pretty much out of nowhere he said, "Hey, hand me this cartridge," and he said, "I want you to review this game." And I was like, "Alright." So I took the cartridge home. And yeah, a couple weeks later I was like, you know what, I really don't have time for reviewing this game right now, but I'll do a Let's Play on it, or at least attempt to, because I had never played the game at that point. I actually attempted to do a blind Let's Play on this, and that pretty much failed miserably because this game is really tough. It's very memorization heavy, it's fast paced, and it also has a lot of, in my opinion, really bad design choices, which make it sort of a frustrating experience for a newcomer. If you practice this game a lot, I think it'll be the kind of game that you can just blitz through, without too much trouble, as long as you are well practiced and know the game inside and out. But me right now, I don't. I've only made it to, I guess, the beginning part of stage 4. And yeah, that took me several tries just to do that. So this Let's Play is not going to be 100% completion. It's not going to be me beating the game, or at least I'm going to say that now, because this game's tough, and I have a feeling that once we get to those parts that I haven't been to before, I'm pretty much going to get destroyed. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into the options menu. I just want to show you that this game actually really doesn't have many options. Well, that was weird. I pressed right, and it actually took me to it. That's odd. So, yeah, you don't have too many difficulty settings. It's just normal, hard, and easy. If you're new to this game, I would probably recommend playing it on easy, but I've been playing it on normal, so we'll go ahead and stick with that. Sound, you got monaural and stereo. I'll just leave it at mono for now. And, yeah. So, let me go ahead and hit start. Yeah, tapping right on the D-pad selects it. That is so odd. So, alright, so we got a picture. Awesome picture, I think. Not really. No sound or anything. So let me pause the game real quick. Okay. This game is sort of like a side-scrolling run-and-gun, so to say. Action, platformer, whatever you want to call it. It's very arcade style, so it's very fast-paced. You could shoot up, you could shoot down. By holding down and pressing jump, you can slide on the ground, much like Contra Hardcore on the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive. Pressing A uses your sort of last-ditch effort bomb attacks, and you have 3 of them. You could scroll through them. You get a fire-based one, a wind-based one, and some other weird-based one. I don't really know what it's based on, but you have 3 different types of sort of, bomb attacks, so to say. You've also got this thing called dash, and unfortunately it's limited until you die, and you'll get it back. And you can do that by holding X. It charges up this meter that you can see at the top portion of the screen, and your character is pretty much invulnerable from what I can tell, at least from enemies, like touching enemies and whatnot. And you'll blaze across the screen and pretty much just destroy anything in your path, or deal lots of damage to bosses. You've also got these sort of domino icons you can pick up in the top. You can see them denoted in the top left-hand corner of the playfield. I don't know what they do. I'm assuming they give you extra lives if you get like 50 or 100 or something like that. The game's so fast-paced, I've been having a hard time actually seeing what they do, but I have a feeling it's probably extra lives. Those 2 red bars at the top of the screen, those are your health pellets. That's right, you only get 2 health pellets, which I think is one of the game's sort of one of the game's poor design choices, especially in this first level. You're going to see there's going to be a ton of enemies coming from both sides. The enemies take multiple hits when you're starting off the game, and it's very difficult. You're going to be dying very quickly when you first play this game. And there are a lot of other design choices in this game I'm not really a fan of. For instance, you can aim down and shoot when you jump, but you can't hold diagonally down and forward, say if you're jumping forward, and still aim down and shoot. It doesn't work in this game. It works in a lot of other games where you can just shoot straight down when you're going forward, like, well, maybe, yeah, well, basically, if you want to try to shoot down while you're moving forward, you can't. It's just, it doesn't work. Your character, with how the physics are set up, your character will stop his motion if you try to aim down. So it's not like Ghouls and Ghosts where you've got this constant momentum and you can just sort of like spray shots in a downward motion. So shooting down in this game really doesn't do you a whole lot of good, and shooting up doesn't do a lot of good either, unless you're on, you know, in place and you can shoot up without worrying about having to dodge anything. So kind of a stiff game in that regard, and that's one of the game's down points, I think. So with all that sort of explained out of the way, let's go ahead and hit start and get into it. And here's the slide attack I was telling you about. And you really want to use the slide attack to sort of get around certain boss maneuvers and whatnot, and you'll see that actually on this first boss even. So unfortunately, you can only shoot 2 bullets out at a time starting off. And yeah, you do get power-ups that will sort of allow you to shoot more bullets at a time. Ah, jeez. See, this game just starts off rough, and I don't think whoever designed this game sort of did a poor job on the implementation. Like, you got these enemies that just come from both sides of the screen. They take a lot of hits each, and the only reason they're taking 1 hit right now is because I got a power-up that deals a lot more damage. But initially, they take 2 or 3 hits apiece, and they're just swarming in from both sides of the screen. And you've got these other guys, the darker green guys, come in, and they basically toss these flames on the ground. And so it's like, very fast-paced. It's tough to deal with when you're first playing. The game, I think it doesn't ease you in at all, and that is, like, see, I'm getting my ass kicked, and part of that is because I'm talking and playing at the same time. The last time I played through the stage, I did fine, because I was just 100% focused on it, but now that I'm trying to talk and play at the same time, it's definitely a lot worse on me. So, you do have a variety of weapons and whatnot. This is a spread shot. Pretty useful in certain situations. It's not the most useful weapon for big enemies and bosses, but it is great for sections like this where you've just got lots of objects coming at you from all sides and you have to attack them. And there's going to be, from what I can tell, there's quite a few sections in the game like that, and I'm not a fan of that at all. I'm also not a fan of this very tight hit detection on, you know, ground and floor elements like that, like the fire in the ground. So, oh, what? Really? You can't... I tried charging when I was hanging on here. Okay, no, it works. Oh, okay, and it makes you invincible for a little while, too. Of course, I jump and I land on the enemies and die anyway. So that's the dash thing I was telling you about, and, yeah, that was not a good area to use that dash, that's for sure. Not a good area at all to use that. And this is something else I don't get. I don't really even know why they have this here. You versus the boss. Great, just take me to the boss. I don't need to see a matchup screen. It just, yeah, it disrupts the flow of the game. Yeah, like I said, there are a lot of design choices I don't care for in this game at all. I mean, if this was a game that was released, say, or was planned to be released back in the mid-90s, you know, okay, whatever. But if this was a game, you know, homebrew made in 2012... you know, we've got decades and decades worth of, you know, video game design knowledge to build off of. You know, there are certain elements that you just really should not use in a game, I think, in order to keep the flow and the pacing up, especially in a fast arcade style game like this. Having a screen that says versus is just kind of lame, if you ask me. It's just my humble opinion. You might think differently. So no offense to anyone that thinks differently. That's just kind of how I see it. So here's my, you know, like I said, the slide attack coming in handy. The spread shot's really not very good for this boss because it's weaker than the other weapons in the game. So You know, not really a good weapon for bosses at all. Unless you get both bullets actually hitting the boss, but that's really risky. I've noticed the hit detection is really not that great in the game either. Every character, your characters are big enough as they are, and everyone seems to have a really large hitbox. So if you try to get in close to that boss, and, you know, with the spread shot, hit him with both bullets at the same time, you're probably going to end up getting hit. Because, you know, even if it looks like you get away in time, you dodge that dude's flames, you're probably still going to get hit because of how the hitboxes are set up. And, you know, realistically, what I should have been doing is, well, not on that boss. That boss, it was fine, you know, I was just kind of grinding away by, you know, sliding under his jump attack and then, you know, hitting him a few times and sliding again and then hitting him again and sliding again and just rinse and repeat. Seems to be the case with a lot of the bosses in this game. But in other situations where I have a harder time, I should be using my my bomb attacks more often. Because it seems like I've got 5 potential bomb attacks I could use right now. And I only have 1 life left. So we're up to 39 dominoes, so we should definitely try to figure out what they do. The potions in this game, they give you a little bit of health. And you know what, I'm going to go ahead and keep the spread shot since, you know, it's weaker. But I'm at a point where it's like... See, that's more awful. Like, how are you supposed to dodge that? It's not like you can jump over the guy. Just, again, poor design choices if you ask me. You're going to be hearing me say that a lot in this game. I mean, unavoidable attacks, not a good design choice in any video game, no matter what game you are. It's like you can only jump so high, unless I'm doing something wrong. There's no double jump as far as I'm aware. That definitely would have helped things a lot. That would have helped things a lot, having a double jump. You know what this game reminds me of is, to a degree, it reminds me of something like... It actually reminds me of a hybrid. It reminds me of Capcom's game, 3 Wonders, which is a really, really fun game. It was sort of like a faster-paced Ghosts and Goblins and Ghouls and Ghosts with sort of like elves, you know? And this level especially reminds me a lot of 3 Wonders. And that 3 Wonders was a great game, a lot of fun to play. At least I'm talking the very... I keep forgetting that 3 Wonders was actually a 3-in-1 compilation, so to say. The first game in the compilation was a side-scrolling action run-and-gun platformer, basically like Ghosts and Goblins. It was more of a run-and-gun than it was, you know, just a straightforward platformer. So... And this definitely reminds me of that game a lot. But what it also reminds me of is sort of like meshing that with something like... what was the game called? I can't even remember the name of the game now. It was on Super Nintendo and there was a prototype for the Genesis. Why can I not think of the name right now? It was a European-style action run-and-gun platformer, and the thing about European-style, or at least back in the, you know, the 90s, like the Amiga days, they had a very distinct style where a lot of times the games were very fast, at least when they were brought over to America, and, you know, the refresh rate wasn't adjusted accordingly, or the game wasn't adjusted for our faster refresh rate. And the games would be very, very quick like this, but they would also be very, very strict in terms of like hit detection and stuff like that. So it was very easy to get hit by enemies and objects, and it was very easy to become overwhelmed very quickly, especially very early in the game. God, what was the game I was thinking of? It was something Dimensions in 3D. For the Super Nintendo. The game's just completely slipping my mind. I don't even know why I'm totally forgetting, because I used to actually play the game quite a bit. I don't remember, but this game If you know what I'm talking about off the top of my head, this game sort of reminds me as a hybrid of that game and Three Wonders, or at least the action part of Three Wonders. The action platformer part of Three Wonders. So now that guy up there, it was actually really good. I kept my spread shot because when I got to that sort of dwarf dude up top earlier, I didn't have the spread shot like this, and so it made that part really tricky. Because if you try to jump up, he smashes his hammer down and pushes you back down. And you can basically try to latch on underneath him and then jump up. And jump up, hit him once, and then jump over so his hammer doesn't hit you, and then just rinse and repeat like 12 times or whatever it takes to do it. But having the spread shot, I could just sort of do it from a distance, which was great, and destroy him much easier. A couple other design choices I do not like in this game, and you guys just sort of experienced it, is I slid into an enemy, and unlike, say, Contra Hardcore, which makes very good use of your slide, in this game you cannot hurt enemies with your slide. I mean, it's just there. It's just there for dodging purposes on bosses. You're not going to be dodging with the slide from normal enemies, because the screen is so, you know, full and filled with enemies that the slide isn't going to really do you much good in regular gameplay. It's mainly just there for bosses, and unfortunately you might accidentally be holding down shooting, and then you might want to jump, but you might accidentally press jump before you actually stand up to jump, and you might end up sliding right into an enemy instead, which is basically what happened to me. Whoa. That is not how I wanted to use that weapon. I wanted to save it. Wow. Looks like the spread shot's actually really helping out now. Oh, that was bad. That was really bad. This boss basically has one pattern. He does the same thing over and over. And just like this. And you just kind of rinse and repeat. But he gets faster and faster, and yeah. You don't want to try to slide when you're up top, because you will drop below, just like in a lot of other platformers where you can hang on objects or you have multiple floors. What I'm going to do is use this. I'm going to use up my items because this boss is just kind of a pain. I'm not a fan of this boss at all. Ah, oh, jeez, it just died. $99 dominoes, so we just have one more to get to see if I get an extra life or not. Okay, this next level is a little frustrating because the designers decided to just throw it up, you know, mix it up on you, and you're basically on a forced scrolling section now. Yeah. So, I mean, this game has the potential to be a really good game. It has the potential for players to really enjoy it, but I think it's really only suited for the uber hardcore that want to learn these games inside and out, practice them, and just keep going at them. Okay, yeah, so the dominoes do give you extra lives. I just proved that point by getting my 100th domino. I guess where I was going with that is that I don't know. I'm not. I don't have as much time to dedicate to games anymore, so I'm not, you know, as interested these days in practicing games that are extremely difficult and memorization heavy. It's just I've got so much else going on that I only have so much time to dedicate to gaming, if you know what I mean. So it's like, when I first played this game, loaded it up a couple hours ago to try it out, I was actually kind of like pissed off at it. I was like, ah, this is not what I was hoping this game would be. You know, I was hoping the flow would be a lot nicer. I was hoping that it would sort of ease you in, but you know, it just pretty much throws you in the deep end right away. Some more hardcore players that are more into playing really well and practicing these games, guys that have more time to dedicate to this sort of thing, like that. I knew that was going to happen. That was my fault. I meant to slide. Those more hardcore players, I think, are probably going to get a kick out of this game more than I have so far. I mean, right now, I'm not too entirely thrilled. I've only played the game for a couple hours now, and I don't know. It's just some design choices that I think could have been changed to have made the game just flow much better. But, you know, I can't really do much about that. And stuff like these forced scrolling screens, you know, I don't mind them, but, you know, why by stage 3 do it? Like, why not just... I don't know, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Mixing things up just for the sake of mixing things up. I mean... Hell, you might as well have just made the entire game just auto-scroll. Or have made none of the game auto-scroll. I mean, that's just... Yeah. I'm just not even focusing right now. I don't even really care. I know I'm not going to make it too much farther than this. Have I already continued once? I don't know. I do not know. Ugh. You see, and it's not like these parts are really that difficult. Like, I almost just don't even care right now. I mean... Get close so all my bullets hit him. What was that? Okay. I don't know if that was an extra life or something, or maybe that was dash. Maybe that was another thing of my dash. I don't know. I got this sort of scroll-looking thing, and, I don't really know what it did. It didn't change up my main weapon. It didn't, yeah. You see, like, that kind of crap right there, you got these small little bits of fire coming down. You can't slide through them, which is what you think you would use the slide for, because you're gonna slam into a boulder because your slide doesn't do damage to enemies. It's just like... What the... Look at this. Are you gonna be kidding me? That's not even touching me on the platform. It wasn't at the beginning anyway. Now it is, obviously. Again, that's just something else that, you know, complete lack of attention to detail in whoever was designing this game. Little things like that just shouldn't be happening, period. Again, it's just my humble opinion. But... It's like, it's little details like that, like, you'll get used to as the more you play the game, but in my opinion, there's little details like that that shouldn't even be a part of the picture at all. You know, you've got enough to deal with as it is, and then having to deal with little quirks, you know, like hit detection issues and things like that, just makes it frustrating. You know, it's one thing to have a difficult game, but to have a difficult game that's got hit detection issues, things like that, that's a problem. That's a problem. Now it's back to auto-scrolling. It's like the game doesn't tell you when it's going to start auto-scrolling. It just does. There are no arrows in the game telling you, hey, watch out for falling objects up top. You know, there's no indication that, you know, there's going to be auto-scrolling. It just starts scrolling. Oh, look at that, another versus screen. That must mean we're at the boss. I don't recall this boss being very difficult, but he does have more patterns than the first two bosses we experienced. And what I find interesting about this boss moment is that when you beat him, more rocks start falling down from the ceiling or the sky. And again, there's no indication that happens, and this is the first part in the game where that happens at a boss fight. So you beat a boss, but then you can still potentially die even though you've just beaten the boss. Yeah, more great design choices, you know? It's like whoever made this game just threw certain elements and just throw the player off and kill him and screw him over the first time. They were probably thinking to themselves, man, this is a great idea. Let's frustrate the piss out of the player. Yeah! Yeah! And you guys could probably tell I'm just completely thrilled right now with this game. I don't know, maybe if I owned it myself, I would be thinking a little bit differently and I wouldn't be as harsh on it because I would own the cartridge and... But this isn't mine. I'm just kind of like doing this for a friend. Don't even really want to be doing it, to be honest with you. I'm just playing this game and... I don't know. It's just something about it is not clicking with me right now. I mean, I've played a lot of games, action, you know, fast-paced action games like this over the years. You know, I love the Ghosts and Goblins series. I love Ghouls and Ghosts, as you guys probably already know. Many of my subscribers, anyway. I love Contra. I love Metal Slug. I love fast-paced games. I love Three Wonders. It's great stuff, you know? But for some reason, this isn't clicking with me that well right now. I'm a big stickler for well-designed games now, though. You know, I was a little bit different when I was younger. But now, since I've played so many games over my lifetime, I've played so many games, it's like, when I experience a game that's not, you know, that does certain things, what, you know, as far as I feel wrong, like this right here, why is this even happening? You know, the last two stages, you went to... you know, another screen before you went on to the next level. It was clear that you were at the next stage, but this isn't. It just automatically throws you in without going to a black screen or anything. It's like, oh, like, it's just inconsistent. I really can't stand inconsistencies these days. This is a really negative Let's Play now that I think about it, which is a shame, because when my buddy gave me this cartridge to try out, I was actually kind of really looking forward to playing it, because I had seen screenshots of this game, and just by seeing screenshots, the first thing that came to mind was Three Wonders, the action platformer part of that game. And, yeah, this game is definitely not really like that in terms of like how well it plays and how smooth it flows and how great it feels, you know? Okay, so yeah, that orb definitely did give me dash. I just saw that. And you know what is weird? Look, I'm in a section of the game where I can just sit here. Why isn't the first level like that? Why is the first level as difficult as, say, a level 4 or 5 should be? Why is this easy right here? Like, why aren't there swarms of enemies coming out at me? That's the inconsistency I'm talking about, and in my opinion, again, my humble opinion, it's not quality design. Okay, we're gonna have some enemies. You're kidding me, right? We've got traps, but no enemies. Of course, traps with bad hit detection. What the? Oh, maybe you can destroy them. Okay. You can destroy them. Okay, I was trying to jump over them. That was my bad, guys. It wasn't immediately obvious I could attack them. I assumed I had to just jump over them like... Oh, so those aren't platforms you can walk on. You have to hang on them. Although, look at that. It looks like they have enough room to where you can just sit on them. But nope. No indication that you'd have to hang on them, so I pretty much died. You know, this is very much a trial and error kind of game, and... You know, like I've mentioned, it might be fun, like, once you figured out all the... all the issues the game has. I know I'm gonna have to hang here, just because they're the same types of platforms. So this is my Pitfall the Mayan Adventure skills coming into play right here. There's stuff like that in Pitfall. I played plenty of that game over the years. Which, sadly, that's not the most... Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Not... Yep, trial and error all the way. I thought I could have just landed in front of that door, but apparently not. But I'm definitely going to have to be playing it careful now because I'm pretty much out of continues as far as I'm aware. So, you can't destroy that guy, but you can destroy the big logs. That's great. Oh look, forced scrolling out of nowhere. Like, really? What's behind me that's gonna kill me? Why can't I just stop? Why is this even necessary? Oh, but I can stop the screen by using a special attack. That's amazing. What? Ah, it's horrible. So here are the enemies I was asking for earlier on. At least they're enemies now. I can at least die with my dignity still intact. I probably should be using my dash attack. I haven't really used it at all except for that first level, which I really used it in a very poor manner. Like more forced scrolling. I have a feeling these spikes are going to fall. Nope, you just have to duck. That's good. I bet you can't slide here either. Wow. Talking about tough, man. Like, and I could definitely picture myself being able to get through that without too much of a problem once I've gotten really familiar with the segment, but I just don't really feel like getting familiarized with the segment right now. Especially with limited continues. That's definitely not cool, having limited continues in this game. I mean, there is an easy mode, and if any of you guys decide to invest in this cartridge, as far as I'm aware, you can still buy it at Super Fighter Team's website. Put it on easy the first time you play it. You know, I don't really recommend that on a lot of games, just from personal experience, because a lot of games don't really require it. You know, there's a lot of games that have easy, normal, hard, but you know, normal is usually a good enough mode to be playing it on to get a a familiarized start on the game. But this game, definitely, I definitely recommend putting it on easy the first time you play it. Oh, really? Ugh. Stupid game. Alright guys, well I'm gonna wrap up this Let's Play of negativity. I'm sorry for the negativity in this one. I'm usually really happy when I do these Let's Plays, but for some reason I just have not really been enjoying this game that much. I mean, as you can see, I've been progressing through it. I mean, I got to what, stage 4 there? You know, quite a good ways into stage 4. And you know, that was much farther than I was able to do when I first powered on the cartridge about an hour and a half ago, playing the game for the very, very first time. So it's definitely a game that, you know, has a lot of trial and error involved. It's a game that's going to have a lot of memorization involved. It's also a game where you're going to be fighting with the controls when you first play it. Like for when I mentioned earlier on in the video, and you never saw me doing it in gameplay because it's really, you can't do it. You can't jump forward and shoot down at the same time. So when you're on like a higher platform, you know, it's just, you know, certain design choices like that I think really hurt the flow of the game, the flexibility the game offers you. It's got pretty decent visuals. Unfortunately, I can't really say the sound is good at all. It's just very typical Super Nintendo muffled stuff. Music really isn't that great either. You know, it's just kind of there. But the graphics are decent. The game never slows down. It's very brisk. And look at this guy. He's at stage 4 where I was. Note to self: watch the intro videos to learn the game a little bit better. So I don't know. It's just something about the game that's not rubbing me the right way right now. Maybe if I give it a little more time off, off screen, just on my own time, I might enjoy it more if I put some more time into it. But I don't know. If you guys want to check this game out, go to Super Fighter Team's website. You can purchase a copy of this game, and formulate an opinion yourself. So, but yeah, I will be back with at least one more Let's Play, guys. My buddy that loaned me this cartridge also loaned me another game. I don't know if he bought from the... I don't think he bought it from the same website, but it's a sort of this 4-in-1 minigame compilation for the Super Nintendo. And it's sort of a homebrew effort, so I don't even remember the name of the cartridge off the top of my head, but I'll be uploading that in the next couple of weeks as well, so definitely watch out for that. But with that, guys, I'm out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys soon. Take care.